Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morrisman. As always, I thank you guys for coming to my channel. And today I'm going to do a short video. And what I'm going to do from time to time is put together a series of these short videos that will help the young up-and-coming, inspiring musician to, get into the business and things to be leery of and things to try to avoid. Because throughout the years of me being in the music industry, I've seen all types of scams and things that you don't want to walk into. And as my memory comes back as far as some of these things, I will share them with you as far as not catching you, getting yourself caught up into those types of things. And some of the things I'm going to talk about, it's going to be kind of controversial to some people because they don't believe it to be what it is, but they just refuse to believe it, even though it is what it is. But, I'm going to try my best to try to help you young guys or young people, avoid these things, if you are very dedicated to trying to become a musician, a singer, an artist, and again, what to avoid. So I put together a short list of 5 things that I can think of right now off the top of my head that might help you guys. And here is the first one, and a lot of people still won't agree with me, but the songwriting contest nonsense. The chances of any inspiring songwriter winning the contest and getting exposure to record is almost zero. The majority of those contests are just composed of making up a promise that they don't deliver, and then they just walk off with your registration fee, because that's the tip-off. When anybody asks you for your money, you need to back off that, because I look at it this way. You should be paying me if I'm entering my material to a contest that might help your contest overall. So that's something you definitely want to avoid. This is the normal procedure as far as getting a record deal or getting a song contract, a songwriter's contract, or getting some of your songs penned on some of these artists today. You got to go through a music attorney. You can't get around it. The record companies do not take unsolicited material, meaning that if it's not sent to them by a representative as far as a lawyer, a musical lawyer, they're not even going to open the package. It's going to send it back to you. So that's why you have to go through that process. I got my first publishing deal. I went through an music attorney. I couldn't get around it because they're not trying to hear you when you walk in unrepresented from a legal standpoint. That's just how the business works, and it's a business. So avoid that songwriters contest mess as far as submit your $50 registration fee. Save your $50 and go out and take your family to them. That'd be better worth money spent than giving it to a company that's going to promise you something that they're not going to deliver. All that contest stuff is a waste of your time and your money. Here was just a short story as far as one of my friends when we were coming up and trying to pen our songs. And he's a very gifted songwriter. I met him years ago, got to be at least 25 years ago, and we're still good friends. He told me about what happened to him, when I first met him. At that time, I guess it was just newspapers, this long before the internet. And he responded to an ad in the paper saying that, are you a songwriter? What we can do is put your song on this compilation of other songwriters, and then we will submit it to the record companies and try to help you get a deal. But first you got to send us $100. And then what he signed, and he didn't realize it till later, was once he signed that contract, the rights to that song reverted to them. So at that point, the song was no longer his, even if they were submitted to record companies and got a deal. Now he doesn't have the rights to the song. So, it's all types of scams out there that you got to be mindful of. And again, avoid that contest nonsense, because nobody gets any type of exposure or money from majority of those contests. They promise you all this stuff and they don't deliver. So that's number one. Number 2 is this one. And this one is for the ladies. You don't want to get ripped off bedroom style. And what I mean by that is some slick guy meet you at a club and, he heard you singing or got hold of a demo and tell you, I can make you a star. But before that happens, you got to kind of help me out. The majority of those guys that promise that and sleep with you, they can't help you anyway. So, use common sense, follow your gut. If it sounds too good to be true, most likely it is. Here's another story regarding that. A very good friend of mine in Chicago, Richard Steele. He's a radio personality. I've been following Richard Steele since the 80s. He's a very good talk show host. And I've been on some of his shows, throughout the years. And he said he shared a story with us when he first came to Chicago. He came from a small radio station, I think, in Ohio. And it's customary that when you come to a big city and you're the new guy, that they throw these parties in your honor, you know, the new people that's come aboard. So he didn't go to that particular, you know, function. And then he said about 2 weeks later, he got a call from a lady saying, well, have you done anything with my demo? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So quickly she got upset because she's like, what do you mean? You know, we did this and that. And he said he felt so bad because the person that was claiming to be him was not him. And he said, you know, ma'am, if you want to come down to the radio station and meet me, I can prove that whoever you were dealing with is not me. And, you know, I felt bad that they ripped you off of my name. So she came down and she felt really bad. He felt really bad. And you know, again, you got to be careful. You know, somebody proposed to be him and, you know, slept with this woman with promise of getting her demo, you know, passed off to the record producers of these big artists, and it just didn't happen. You know, that's a common scam, and it's like, just be careful, ladies, because, again, if some slick, sly guy walk up to you, I can make you a star, you know, most likely he can't, you know. So, you know, you definitely want to avoid that, you know, and then it's just not good ethics, even if it is somewhat true, real that they can't help you. You don't want to start your music career on that note. You don't want to end it on that note either. Okay, number 3 is this one. Get yourself copyrighted. You know, whatever you think you have that's any value, even if it's not any value, make sure you go through the proper channels as far as the Library of Congress, getting your stuff copywritten. You can't rely on that. They call it the poor man's copyright, where you put a cassette or a DVD in an envelope and send it to yourself and don't break the seal nonsense. That doesn't hold up in court. They use that as a paperweight. So, you know, you definitely want to just go through the proper channels, because it costs, I think, anywhere from $15 to $20 to register or copyright one song. And what you can do if you strap for cash is this. Say, for instance, you got 10 songs, and you're like, I just don't have $50 to $100 right now, and I want these copywritten. What you can do is put them in a collection. If you got 10 songs, you can say the Morrisman collection, then you list the songs on the sheet, and then you mail it off, and it's in collection form, and it's about $20, I believe. But here's the thing, once someone is interested in one of those songs, you have to go back to the paper copyright, and you have to have that song copywritten individually, just to protect yourself. So it's kind of like a standoff for the time being. I don't have a lot of money, so I'm just going to do it in this form to have at least protected. But when it's time for it to be marketed and published, you want to have it pulled out of that collection and registered copyright individually. So that's very important. Copyright your stuff before you put it on the internet or send it to somebody, or let people that you don't really trust know or hear, you know. Even sometimes your good friends, you kind of don't want to let them hear it until you get it copyrighted, because, you know, if they steal it, ain't nothing you could do about it. Okay, number 4 is a real simple one. Don't be a jerk. And what I mean by that is, it's easier to work with people that you can get along with. And there are people that, you know, they have the luxury that if they don't want to work with you because you're an idiot or a jerk, they don't. So, you know, you can't walk into a band situation and thinking that you all this and everybody else is secondary, and you're very opinionated on what's taking place, you know, within the band structure. Nobody wants to work with those types of people. I can remember when I first started doing production, you know, I always had a pretty good day job, you know, so I didn't have to rely solely on, you know, the production money. And I would run into people that, you know, midway through the production, I actually gave them their money back and said, you know what, you can have whatever we started, but I'm done. Here's your money back. We can't work, you know. There's just certain things that, you know, that you just can't, you know, jail with. And, you know, it doesn't make for a very comfortable work environment when you can't get along or not in agreement with the people that you're working with. That's one reason why I always wrote most of my songs solely by myself, all the lyrics, all the instrumentation, because I look at my songs as babies and I nurture them. And I don't want nobody walking in and giving me some type of, you know, comment or feedback that ain't really negative or not really positive, you know, or it should be like this, you know. So I've always just did this stuff by myself because, you know, you don't want to be clashing with people. Number 5, which is really self-explanatory. If you're going to be in the music of business, know the business. And what I mean by that is now with the internet, you can do your own research. You can buy books. Because the book that I bought when I was in my early 20s, late teens, it was called This Music, Business of Music. Very good book. And it was very informative as far as the things that I needed to know to keep from getting ripped off or screwed, you know. So if you're going to be in this business, know this business, you know. Do some research, read up on it, ask questions, call people if you don't have the answers to some questions, because you don't want to sign anything that's going to be not good and then tie you up for 10, 15, 20, 30 years and ain't nothing you could do about it, either pay it out or get sued if you break the contract arrangement or deal. You know, so that kind of wraps this up. And then, like I said, from time to time, I'll do some more of these and, you know, to help you guys out, because you try to want to head off stuff that you don't have to deal with if you don't have to. So on that note, I'm signing off. Until next time, take care. Thanks.